Hi, everybody. Dave here. Our CyberWire podcast team is taking a well-earned break for the holidays, but don't fret. We'll be back January 2nd with all new episodes of our show. In the meantime, we're running extended versions of some of our favorite interviews from 2019. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you. Stay with us. My guest today is Mandy Rogers. She's Operations Manager for Engineering and Sciences at Northrup Grumman. Our conversation centers on her inspirational career journey, from humble beginnings on a farm in rural Virginia to leadership positions with some of the largest and most influential technology companies in the world. She shares her insights on the importance of diversity in the workplace and why she's dedicated to making sure the next generation of women in cybersecurity have ample opportunities to succeed. But first, a message from our sponsors, McAfee. Ideas don't come for free. Budgets are begged for, long hours are required, the months, maybe even years of research, the sheer human effort of it all. The changes, the revisions, the reworks, the results. The adaptation, the innovation, the collaboration all lead to the final moment when it pays off. And it's perfect. Your company's work. As long as it's not compromised. From device to cloud, McAfee harnesses the power of 1 billion threat sensors to design security that moves beyond intelligence to insight. So you can move beyond optimizing security products to optimizing your security posture, and not just react to threats, but remediate threats that matter. Intelligence lets you respond to your environment. Insights empower you to change it. McAfee, the device-to-cloud cybersecurity company. To learn more, go to mcafee.com/insights. That's mcafee.com/insights. And we thank McAfee for sponsoring our show.
My unintentional cyber journey actually began when I was quite young. I grew up in a farm town in, I'll say, southern Northern Virginia, not too far from here, maybe a 2-hour drive from where we're at in Maryland. My mother, who worked at Vint Hill in the Signals Intelligence Office, was a rental vehicle car dispatcher for that Vint Hill respective arm. And she would sometimes bring me to work or to her nighttime cybersecurity college classes that actually took place in a barn. So that was kind of those touch points that really early on, probably before I was even 10 years old, got me exposed to cyber.
So your mother had that interest of her own, and you saw that, and that sparked your own interest.
Exactly. So I was always a technologically savvy child just because of us growing up in the age where we were starting to be on computers and starting to have personal home computers. Not quite young enough, I'll say, to have grown up with cell phones, but I was definitely playing video games from a young age on booted from floppy disks, and that was very exciting to me. So fast forward 10 years from those young days, and I was in high school, still not really understanding the implications of cyber and technology just yet. And I go to enroll my senior year in this fashion marketing class. And it was the really cool elective that people took because we got to take field trips from our rural farm town to go see the Versace and the Louis Vuitton stores. And that was really kind of a cool interest of mine growing up, having come from the farm town and not really getting to experience that type of culture growing up. So fast forward, I get my curriculum for the year and my fashion marketing class is not on there. I instead have this computer math course I've never heard of, nobody's ever taken before at my high school. And I go to my guidance counselor and I'm like, hey, what is this? My elective's supposed to be fun. This doesn't sound fun. You know, I already am really good at math and I'm taking the advanced courses in English and math. I want to transfer out of this. She told me, nope, the class is full. You're good with computers, you're good with math, stick through it and get the easy A.
Really?
Yeah, so they were absolutely wrong about that easy A. This course was taught by a really passionate teacher in high school who was taking a chance at a farm town to help them grow their technological footprint. That course ended up being the history of computers and also an introduction to programming. I found out I was really passionate about solving hard problems and learning how to do things a little bit more differently. And my male professor, my male teacher actually encouraged me to pursue STEM. And then my grandfather, also part of the cyber DNA that I didn't realize I had until much later in life, a career Navy cryptologist told me that I was going to be an engineer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, in retrospect, as you look back, do you think that guidance counselor was actually sort of looking out for your best interest by insisting you be in that class rather than the fashion class you had your heart set on?
Absolutely. I think that there are a couple pivotal points in my life, and that might have been one of them. Actually, it definitely was one of them, where someone nudged me to go into an area that I wasn't really familiar with or what the grander impact really had on my life. Had I not taken that class, I wouldn't even know what an engineer looked like or what they did. I wouldn't even know what computer programming really was, despite growing up in the days where we all had MySpace pages and we were coding in HTML and didn't even know it, right? So it was really curious to be able to take that non-traditional path and have those people who intentionally engaged in my career.
So that interest is sparked in you. What happens after high school?
So after high school, I enrolled at Christopher Newport University in Newport News, Virginia, in a degree in computer engineering, which ended up being a hybrid of electrical engineering, computer science, and advanced physics. It was very, very tough, very challenging, very inspiring. We had some amazing professors. I ended up being the sole female to graduate the year I did in engineering with an engineering degree from my campus. The college has since changed up their metrics a lot more and are engaging women and finding ways to teach the curriculum in a way that doesn't shy people in general away from graduating with an engineering degree. And I've been very fortunate to have been able to come back to my college and try to think through how we can diversify and utilize different teaching methodologies to help inspire women and others to just stick with it and realize that if they're passionate about it, if they try hard enough, if they ask for help, that they can do it.
So you finish up school and you head off into the workforce. Where did you begin there?
I was lucky enough to have multiple internships, one of which was with Northrup Grumman, where I worked as a software engineer in the intelligence domain. So I was able to firsthand, very early in my career, get that experience and that exposure into what it means to support mission very early on and how I can translate my technical skills to the workforce and mission. In the past 10 years since joining as an intern, Northrop Grumman has offered me opportunities to be a software engineer, test engineer, a program manager in cyber analytics, as well as even an innovator, right? My job coming into work every day was to innovate and look at how we do things a little bit differently. Currently, I'm an operations manager, and that means that I support our gigantic portfolio of amazing talent on anything strategic and tactical around people and performance. And that includes helping our cyber workforce think about things a little bit differently on how we recruit and retain our talent.
That's interesting to me that in an environment where you hear of people hopping from company to company a lot, that Northrop Grumman has provided you the opportunities within to stay there, to feel challenged, to have new opportunities for growth. And you've been there, you say, around a decade.
Yeah. So, it's no secret, Dave, that there's a huge shortage of cybersecurity talent within our country and even globally. By 2021, the estimates at a global scale is that we'll have a 3.5 million people shortage of talent to be able to help us tackle our nation's hardest problems. The greatest thing about Northrop Grumman is that we do have this big portfolio of really exciting domains that we support, and cyber is really at the heart of all of that. Some of the really great things we're doing is to help bring in people who may not have a cyber background and help upskill them if they're curious about the domain or if they feel that they might need it to help support their job. We have an in-house cyber academy that helps upskill our talent and brings in some of the professionals who live in this world and are constantly upping their game to help us help our talent really bring it up that skill set.
Yeah. For you, coming up through the industry, through your education and starting your career, you came up into cybersecurity during a time when there were even fewer women in the field than there are today. What were some of the challenges you faced from that point of view?
So, Dave, early on in my career, I lacked a sense of confidence because I looked around, and in my college, I was the only female. At a prior internship, I was literally the only female working in a team of 40 people at another electronic facility, I'll say. And, I would show up to work as my whole imperfect self. I would wear my pink tennis shoes when we were required to wear T-shirt and jeans and climb into the rafters, and I would solder just like everybody else, right? And I think having that slight confidence helped me just bring my whole self to work, and I think helped evolve who I've become today. So about 4 years into my career, I really enjoyed mentoring, and I took on a young male mentee fresh out of college, and we were working together day in, day out, trying to help show him how we, utilize technology in support of mission. And he actually stopped me one day and said, hey, look, you're capable. I think you need to look up this thing called imposter syndrome. You're here, you're amazing, you're competent, you're intelligent. And that was really a pivotal moment because I realized that I was capable, but I was too scared sometimes to raise my hand. And sometimes the mentee is the one that's bringing out that confidence, right, and trying to build up our confidence and reflecting on that. So that was really interesting. And I think that men and just everyone in general trying to figure out where we can build up confidence and maybe are hesitant in scientists and engineers is an important factor of us trying to build a more robust and diverse workforce.
What sort of programs exist within Northrup Grumman to support those kinds of efforts?
So we do have formal and informal mentor relationships that we build in the company. We also offer the Cyber Academy. So that's something where we do diversify our cyber portfolio, and we have everything from cyber for program managers and executives, and so they can speak a little bit more intelligently about the cyber domain and understand how that impacts everything we do, as well as software engineers or more experienced experts in the field who want to upskill their capabilities. We also offer tuition assistance for both education and certifications. We also have rotational programs, of which I've actually taken advantage of for people either fresh out of college who can pick up and move and try something totally different, as well as those more experienced. So midway into my career as a systems engineer, I was able to actually pick up and leave my comfort of Virginia and go to the West Coast and help bring my cyber and my software background and intelligence over to our really vast space domain. And so it's kind of neat to be able to pull on those different threads and understanding those different domains in a really rapid manner and figuring out how you can grow your network and grow your expertise in domains that you never thought were possible.
What is your advice? What is your message to that young woman who's coming up through school today and she feels as though she has an interest, but maybe she has those same doubts that we all can have? Am I good enough? Do I belong here? What's your message to that person?
I would say, seek out a mentor. I was lucky enough to have people who recognized the potential in me growing up and coming through high school and in this farm town where I was competing in Future Farmers of America, had nothing to do with modern technology in the sense of ones and zeros, right? Seek out a mentor. If one isn't approaching you, then take that opportunity to ask your parents, ask your friends if they know of anybody who's technologically savvy and could talk to you a little bit more about the domain. We're in a very connected world nowadays, too, and you can YouTube, you can Google, you can get information that we didn't have access to 10, 20 years ago. You don't have to go to the library and check out a book to learn about this field or see how you can apply your skill sets to the domain. I would encourage you to build your network, even if you're afraid. Usually 9 times out of 10, I would say almost 100% of the time, people are willing to share their experiences. And frankly, that gets me excited at the end of the day. If somebody approaches me and asks if they could talk to me about cyber and intelligence and technology, I get inspired. And I learned so much from those people themselves because they might not have had the history or experience where we might have said, no, you can't do that at one point, but now really most things are possible.
Why is it important to pursue these things? Why does diversity in the workforce matter?
Data shows that a diverse population working on a problem has the breadth and experience and the different cultural upbringings to actually look at problems a little bit differently. If we continue to do the same thing over and over again, we're never going to get to that new, unique, innovative solution. I really think that the data strongly shows that. We, as a company, take diversity very seriously. We have great role models, and many of the women in our company. Our cyber business is led by an amazing executive, Jennifer Walsmith, who has a really deep background in cyber, which is so cool to hear her experience and really understand how she brings her unique background to solving cyber problems in a wider array of domains. Kathy Warden, our CEO, chairman, and president, is just one of 27 women out of the 500 S&P companies. Wow, right? As a company, we also offer a variety of employee resource groups geared towards women. We've developed an executive female leadership program where we talk about, how are unconscious bias really affecting how women progress in their careers, and how can we as a company and as a culture really help uplift and bring people up with us, and talk about some unique opportunities or challenges we might face in the workspace and how we can gracefully, I'll say, help shift our cultures in the best way possible and talk about how we as a women cohort can really get there as a company. I myself graduated from that program earlier this year. It was led by our amazing Chief Information Officer, Sean Purvis, who's also an amazing female leader in our company. Northrop Grumman did earn a 2018 Catalyst Award around diversifying our workplace and culture and really making sure we're leaning forward on that side.
So I know something that's important to you is reaching out to that next generation. What sort of efforts are going on with Northrop Grumman and those sorts of things?
Thanks for asking that, Dave. So to inspire middle school and high school aged children to study STEM, we partner with the Air Force Association in Cyber Patriot. This hands-on global cyber defense competition includes more than 5,000 teams and has expanded globally, including the UK and Australia. From a diversity standpoint, most STEM programs average about 12 to 13% of female participation, which really isn't a lot. Cyber Patriot takes pride in trying to grow that participation, and we partner with them on that as well. And we've been able to double the Cyber Patriot participation to be 23% female, which still isn't quite getting us there, right? So we're continuing to figure out unique and creative ways on how we can just involve women in a technological community that might be outside of their high school or their middle school and helping provide them mentorship in unique ways. We also collaborate with the University of Maryland, College Park, in a program called the Advanced Cybersecurity Experience for Students, or ACES. ACES is the first and only undergraduate honors program in cybersecurity. And this year we have the opportunity to have about 300 students participate. Each summer, a large percentage of those students do come and intern with Northrop Grumman to get that hands-on mission experience. We've also partnered with the University of Maryland, Baltimore County on the Cyber Scholars Program aimed at preparing the next generation of cybersecurity professionals with a particular focus on increasing the number of women and other underrepresented groups in the profession, which is very important to us. We're also widening that aperture by upskilling our current professionals and folks who may want to return mid-career from a break, whether that's paternity or maternity leave. We do have those opportunities, or even just caring for an elderly family member, right? If somebody has taken a break from work, but they're curious and interested in getting back into the workforce, and maybe they're interested in pursuing cyber or intelligence or any sort of technology, we do offer opportunities to return back to the workplace where they might have had a gap and had to take some time from their career to focus on life. One of the really wonderful things I do love about Northrop Grumman is we do have this mission-first mentality, but we also share this life balance concept where we have the opportunity to adapt our hours depending on what life may throw at us. So we may need to either reduce our hours, shuffle our hours around, and we also offer opportunities to do what we call a 980, where you work a little bit extra every day, but you then get a 3-day weekend twice a month or every other week, which is very exciting. I love having my 3-day weekends where I might, work a little bit harder one day and stay a little bit later for the sake of mission, but then I also get to go hiking on a Friday or getting all my laundry done, and then I can actually enjoy the weekend and rest and relax and recharge. I'm very appreciative that we do take our life balance very seriously, but we also take mission very seriously as well.
That's Mandy Rogers from Northrop Grumman. Our thanks to McAfee for sponsoring our program. Visit McAfee.com/insights and find out why McAfee is the device-to-cloud cybersecurity company. For everyone here at the CyberWire, I'm Dave Bittner. Thanks for listening.